Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a debate on Proposition 304, which calls for state lawmaker pay raises. Also tonight, we'll hear about the state's culinary scene as Arizona Restaurant Week approaches, and we'll see how a building that housed a popular restaurant in the past is still booked solid. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight's show begins with a debate. Proposition 304 would give state legislators an $11,000 raise, increasing their annual pay to $35,000. The Commission on Salaries for Elective State Officers put the measure on the ballot, and here now to debate the issue are two members of the commission, Joe Canfield, who supports the pay raise, and Brian Kaufman, who is opposed to the measure. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us. Joe, we'll start. What exactly, is that basically it? Is this exactly what it calls for, $11,000 a year?
That's it, Ted. It's a simple question. The voters are going to be asked to answer on November 4th at the general election whether they wish to raise the salaries that we pay our state legislators from $24,000 a year to $35,000 a year.
Are per diem allowances, are they changed at all?
That's not changed. The per diem allowances are completely unrelated. Those are set by the legislature, and they're not going to change at all.
All right, let's get into this thing. Why do lawmakers need an $11,000 a year raise?
Well, first let's talk about how hard our legislature works. I mean, this isn't the old days when the legislature met every other session for 100 days or less and left back to their jobs. These days, the legislature's in session for several months. When they're in session, it's basically a full-time job. And when they're not in session, they're serving the needs of their constituents. They're at events in the community. So it's very difficult for someone to serve in the Arizona legislature and carry on full-time employment outside of the legislature. So it's not that we should be paying them an exorbitant salary. This is a reasonable sum of money to compensate them for the expenses that they incur while serving their constituents.
Why not give lawmakers a raise?
Well, I think it's just a matter of the expense to the state and whether we're going to get any value in return for the expense, and I just don't see the value there. And if you multiply out the 90 legislators by the 11,000, you get 990,000, plus the pensions, you end up getting about 1.2 million. And I think that's just going to be a lot better spent on access, on public safety, what have you.
No raise since 1998 for state lawmakers. Is that a good thing?
I'm not here to say that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, the people have consistently voted it down, so I don't think we haven't given them the opportunity to vote for it.
Yeah, the idea that this is not necessarily all that popular with the populace, is that taken into consideration?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's important to point out that I don't think raise is the appropriate term to describe what is being the voters are being asked to vote on. The last time the salary was increased was in 1998. It was to $24,000 a year. If you take inflation into consideration, we're at less than $35,000 a year. So we've actually been decreasing their salary. So I think the more appropriate term is a restoration, I suppose, or of what we should be paying them or what the voters agreed to pay them in 1998.
But is this the best time, considering the economy, considering what critics say are folks that haven't had a raise in a long time, maybe even longer than is it the best time to be asking for this?
Well, absolutely. The average single wage earner in Arizona makes $41,000, so we're not paying them even that rate. And the economy is improving. So last time this question was on the ballot was 4 years ago. It was in 2008 at the time when the economy was doing very badly, and it was understandable that the voters wouldn't support that. But the most recent economic forecast showed that we have weathered the storm, and a full recovery is on the horizon. So this absolutely is the time to consider giving our legislators a raise.
Back to the inflation adjustment. Some will say that if you don't adjust for inflation since 1998, you're basically giving a pay cut every year.
Well, it's been up to the voters, and they voted no consistently, so that if they wanted to build in an inflationary adjustment, they could have done that in the statute.
The idea that you get what you pay for. Some folks are saying you're not paying very much here, and you were saying that you don't think it's quite worth it. Might it be worth it if you start paying more?
No, and I really don't buy the if you get what you pay for argument. I think that most of the problem that people have with the legislators is their policy positions, and I just don't see any particular person, if we raise salaries, they're going to start now agreeing with more of the legislators. I don't think that you're going to get suddenly more ethical people or what have you. I mean, we have fine legislators right now, other than people disagreeing with their policy.
Could you broaden the pool of candidates, though, if you raise the salary?
Maybe a little bit. I think we have a pretty broad pool right now, and I suppose you could broaden the pool, but I don't think you're going to get. It's not going to lean toward better people or more people you'd agree with policy-wise.
You mentioned, please.
But that's an important point because I think it's worth noting that we have some very fine men and women that serve in the Arizona legislature. So this isn't a knock on them or to suggest that we would get better legislators. But we would certainly increase the number of people who would be willing to serve, but for the financial circumstances they find themselves in. A lot of folks, when they decide whether to run, they have to take this into consideration, whether they can serve their constituents, 210,000 plus people, while doing whatever it is they do to make a living and getting paid $24,000 a year. It's just not realistic these days.
Not realistic these days.
It's going to be very hard to live on $24,000. I don't think a lot of these legislators do live on $24,000, and I don't think we're, generally speaking, seeing legislators live on that amount. They have other income for other times of the year. They have successful businesses that run elsewhere, and I don't think it's realistic to expect someone to only live on their legislative salary.
Back to what you'd mentioned earlier, that they work, this was designed to be a part-time job, but they're working, so it's still designed to be a part-time job. If they can't get their business done in time, should we be rewarding them with more of a salary?
Well, you're talking about the session. So when they're in session, yeah, we'd like to get them out of session within 100 days, but that doesn't happen. I mean, we're talking a multi-billion-dollar budget with incredibly important issues of public safety, healthcare, education, transportation, you name it. So to expect them to do this important business in an expedited period of time is also unrealistic. And that's not considering the fact that when they're not in session, they're serving the needs of their constituents. They get calls from their constituents on nights and weekends. They're expected to attend events and appearances, oftentimes at odd hours of the day. And you know, so if you're elected to serve, we pay state employees a lot more. A lot of state employees make a lot more money, and they don't have nearly the responsibility that we task our legislators with.
The idea of this being kind of a 24/7 job, even though it's not designed to be as such, valid?
Yeah, I mean, it is a very full-time job, and I'm not here to argue that for the work that they do and the time they put into it, that $24,000 is like a fair salary if you were applying for a job at a business. But I don't think running for the legislature and being elected is the same as applying for a job or being in a job.
The idea that better pay would mean less temptation for freebies, taking football tickets, for example. I mean, does that play into it?
I don't think so. I mean, $35,000 a year, give me a break. It's not that significant that they're not going to take free football tickets or what have you. And I don't buy that, no.
Senator Don Shooter said, give us a raise and we'll buy our own tickets.
Yeah, okay.
You're not buying that, huh? Well, let's talk about that. The idea of why would we want to give more money to folks that seem, to some, more than eager to grab every free thing that comes along?
Well, I don't think it would be appropriate to hold the body responsible for the actions of certain individuals. And when we talk about the legislature as an institution, we obviously want the very best people to serve who aren't going to succumb to those kinds of influences. Certainly paying them more might guard against doing that, but I have confidence that isn't what drives folks. I think legislators may be less likely to solicit contributions from lobbyists and others if they had a little bit more flexibility with respect to their personal financial situation. But having said that, I think it's about paying people a reasonable yet modest salary to do some very important work on behalf of the constituents that they are elected to serve.
You think maybe the temptation regarding lobbyists and others with contributions, you think that applies?
No, I don't think so at all. People who are going to take contributions from lobbyists or things under the table, I mean, they're just going to get as much as they can, and giving them an extra $11,000 in their salary, that's just an extra $11,000 they're getting, and they're going to be happy to get that and continue what they're doing.
In the grand scheme of things, we have people that are deciding major issues in the state, and I think some folks would be surprised to know that they get $24,000 a year. Again, back to the realistic, back to the real world aspect. Should they get a $5,000 raise, $6,000, $8,000?
Again, I mean, we decided in the commission that $11,000 was the amount to put. We could have done less. I don't think paying more at all right now is fiscally prudent.
Okay, if paying more is the wise idea, why 11,000? Why not make it 15? Why not make it 20?
Again, the word I was looking for was adjustment. This is an adjustment to make them whole, at least to where the voters put them in 1998. So that the $35,000 and $11,000 adjustment puts them where they would be if you take inflation into consideration. I should note that in I think it was 2006, this question was on the ballot and proposed to raise the salary to $36,000. That was narrowly defeated, Ted. So the voters, I think, are inclined to consider this. Again, the economy was improving at the time, and then in 08, we had some setbacks. But we're back to where we should be, and I think this is the appropriate time for the voters to approve this increase.
All right, and you say no, correct?
That is correct.
All right, good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Expand your horizon with the Arizona Horizon website. To get there, go to azpbs.org. Click on the Arizona Horizon tab at the top of the screen. Once there, you can access many features. Watch interviews by clicking on the video button. You can also find out what's on Arizona Horizon for the coming week. If you would like an RSS feed, a podcast, or want to buy a video, that's all on the website too. Want to learn about specific topics like immigration or the legislature? You can visit our special web sections. Show your support for Arizona Horizon at azpbs.org/Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Restaurant Week is just about here, starting tomorrow and running through September 28th. Foodies in Phoenix and Tucson will get a chance to try new dishes and dining experiences at a reduced fixed price. Joining us now to talk about Arizona Restaurant Week is Massimo De Francesca, Executive Chef at Taggia at the Fire Sky Resort in Scottsdale, Chris Curtis, Executive Chef at Bourbon Steak at the Fairmont Princess in Scottsdale, and Susie Tim of Arizona Restaurant Week. Good to have you all here. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
I guess we should probably, Susie, start with you. What is Arizona Restaurant Week?
Well, Arizona Restaurant Week is a 10-day culinary adventure. We like to say it's the chance to go tasting with your buds. It's 10 nights of just amazing edibles all over Phoenix and in Tucson as well. So there are 190 participating restaurants this year.
Kind of get people out of their comfort zone a little
Yes.
bit, go try something new and
Try
see what
something
it
you've
gives.
never had. Exactly.
Massimo, as far as Taggia, what will you be featuring and why?
Sure. So we're an Italian restaurant, and we're doing a zucca tasting menu, which is basically squash. So fall is just around the corner. I figured we'd do a squash tasting menu. So every course has some kind of squash: butternut squash, acorn squash.
Does that represent the menu, or is this kind of a chance for you to show off a little bit and go outside?
A little bit of both. I think it's still true to the Italian theme. Sort of reinvented classical Italian dishes, but made with squash.
And as far as Bourbon Steak, what are you showcasing now?
We're going to be showcasing a lot of seasonal produce and some great fresh seafood and beef. Obviously, we're known for our beef, but we're going to do some dishes that are kind of going to give our guests an opportunity to see that we're more than just a steakhouse. We're doing a great menu. It's 3 courses for $44, and they get multiple choices in each course.
And again, for you, is an opportunity to show the range of bourbons. Are you serving any steaks for this, or are you just kind of going?
We're actually going to do a braised beef short rib as one of the entrees, and then pork tenderloin, and then some grilled market fresh fish as the other entree option.
Okay, and as far as diners are concerned, what's the cost? What do they need to know?
So both Taja and Bourbon Steak have a 3-course menu that's priced at $44 per person plus tax and gratuity. There are the 2 price points are either $33 or $44, and so if you go to ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com, you'll find the menu of, again, over 190 restaurants, what the price point is. It'll tell you if they have gluten-free options, vegetarian options, etc.
And I noticed, I think you got a lot of gluten-free options, don't you?
We do. In fact, on our menu, we state vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. So we like to cater to all those people.
Oh, has that changed over the years, and how much has it changed?
A lot, I
Yeah.
think. There's a huge demand for not only a dietary restriction, but a lot of people cannot actually digest the gluten protein. So it's becoming very, very demanding right now.
Is that the kind of thing, as a chef, do you have to, I mean, you kind of know what something tastes like, but now you got this whole new variety of food. You got to kind of mix a new formula, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, we're constantly having to adapt and evolve to guests' wants and needs, so it's just an extra challenge for us, but it's no problem.
As far as the restaurant and preparing for Arizona Restaurant Week, what changes for you?
It just gives us another opportunity to give our guests something that's, you know, kind of outside the box, and give us an opportunity to hopefully bring some guests into our restaurant and show them that we can cater towards their needs.
Do you prepare any differently?
No, we're still preparing with the same, you know, love and attention to detail, but it's just a different menu.
As far as you're concerned, just preparing for the week, it's got to be a little different, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, as Chef said, we're preparing our regular menu, but we're also preparing this whole new inventory for the next 10 evenings,
Right.
10 nights. So a little bit more demanding, but it's fun. You know.
How about the customer for Arizona? A different kind of customer?
You could say a
How
lot
so?
of customers that usually don't dine out. This is a good reason for them to kind of go out and try some of these restaurants that they normally don't. You know, less intimidating, if you will, with that price point.
Interesting. See a different kind of customer here, or?
I would say so, yeah. You know, we view it as kind of an open house, so to speak. It's an opportunity, you know, to show these guests that, you know, we're here and we're willing to show a great level of hospitality for them.
Talk about Phoenix, and we'll talk about Phoenix here, in particular the Valley, as a foodie destination. I keep hearing we're getting there. Are we getting there?
Oh, I think we're there. I feel like over the years it's progressed exponentially with the help of chefs like Massimo and Chris. Definitely have raised the bar, but there are a ton of really great, excellent chefs, as a matter of fact, in this town, excellent restaurants, and I think we're finally getting some of the national credibility that we deserve. So
Does, you know, some areas have certain histories or certain personas, or they're known for certain types of food or presentation. Is Phoenix getting a reputation for something?
I think so. I would say so. I mean, within the Valley itself, I think we've created this amongst our chefs and other restaurants. Nationwide, like you said, I think we're getting there. I think a lot of chefs from other towns or other cities, it's a great opportunity for them to, you know, make a name for themselves here.
Interesting.
And really raise that bar.
So instead of a New York or San Francisco where, you know, you go and you've made the big time, whatever it is, this is kind of you go and you get to kind of do your own thing and see what happens, right?
It's like a playground.
It's like a
Like an open canvas.
or a laboratory, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that how you see it as well?
More or less. You know, I think one of the things to back up and talk about with Phoenix as a food destination and an identity within itself is what's helping with that is a lot of the local farms that have really become more prolific over the past 5 years. It's something that chefs, you know, love to be able to work with local farm fresh produce, and to have those available to us is a real blessing.
Very true.
Can you tell the difference? I mean, is it just neat to have it local and it's cool to say it's local, or can you really say that basil comes from Gilbert or something along those lines?
It tastes so much better. We were just talking about it before we came on, and just the local produce is so much fresher and it's so much more alive, and it comes through.
Same with you?
Absolutely. There's really no need to, you know, pull that fruit underripe and have it ripe en route to wherever the final destination is.
Right. As far as, now we said getting there, in some respects, Phoenix is there for a foodie destination. What else does Phoenix need to further that reputation?
well, I personally would say it needs better national publicity. I think that we need the Food and Wine magazine, the Bon Appetit magazine, some of these magazines to give us our due, because I do believe that there are a ton of chefs who've proven their worth here, and you're looking at two of them.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, why don't you think that national attention is there?
I think Phoenix has had a reputation as the land of the chain restaurant, or just, you know, it's so transient. There's so many visitors that just people aren't interested in cuisine, but I really feel like that is not true at all. So
There's also been kind of a rap on Phoenix diners that they don't want to try anything exotic. They don't want to try anything new. Give us something we've had before, or at least we're familiar with. Is that valid?
I think so. I mean, I'm still relatively new to this city, 2 years, a week ago, and another fellow chef had put it to me that it's like a bunch of cattle and you know, directing them to one entry. I think the diner here is still, it's just a different diner than cities, in fact, that I'm used to. You know, the New York.
Right. Is a cat? I don't know how to work the metaphor there, but is it getting better?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
What do you think as far as that's concerned? Again, you get that criticism. They just want the same old thing, the same thing they've had before. Is that changing?
I think that I've seen since I've been in the Valley that there is a larger percentage of people that are more adventurous and are willing to try new things, but the trick is to get them comfortable within your restaurant and to get them to have some confidence in your cooking or your style of cooking, and then gently ease them into a different direction.
I was going to say, as a chef, do you get a little exasperated sometimes? Like, I want to do X, but they seem to want Y.
It can be challenging from time to time.
Yeah, challenging as well.
Hence the cattle to the director.
You're going back to that metaphor, aren't you? Okay, Arizona Restaurant Week. Is this lunch, dinner only?
dinner only starts Friday.
Starts Friday and runs again through the 28th.
28th.
And is there a website to go to?
ArizonaRestaurantWeek.com.
And does it have menus on there for?
Menus, everything you could want. You do have to make the reservation either through OpenTable or by calling the restaurant directly. But other than that, you've got everything you need on that website.
All right, great information. Well, good luck for the week, and thank you all for being here. Congratulations on your success as well. Well, it's not often a new bookstore opens in town. It's even more unusual to see a shop take over an iconic restaurant, but that's what recently happened in Central Phoenix. Producer Christina Estes has the story.
Every day we have a half a dozen people come in to tell us their stories of this restaurant.
For 45 years, Jay Newton's Beefeaters welcomed Arizona diners. The British-themed restaurant was a popular spot for business deals and birthdays, political marriages, and wedding anniversaries. Shortly after the owner died, Beefeaters closed. The 17,000-square-foot building sat vacant for 7 years until the owners of Changing Hands began a new chapter when they decided to open their second independent bookstore.
It was a building that the community very much wanted to save.
But wanting to save something doesn't always generate enough cash to make it happen.
As a bookstore, not a lot of banks jump on the idea of loaning, a model where everywhere else you look in the country is going out of business.
Cindy Dash and her partners took out personal loans and turned to the community. Through a crowdsourcing campaign, they asked residents to pitch in $80,000. They collected more than 90.
And did you need a bag today?
There's a lot of ownership now of people who come into the building.
Is that right? I'll pass that on too.
It's a legacy project. So by donating this, by being one of the 1,100 people that made this bookstore happen, you're part of the legacy of our future.
Suddenly there was a terrible jolt. The bicycle had hit a rock and George flew off the seat, head first.
The future calls for a commitment to community events and gathering places. That's why they kept the former restaurant's common space and added a coffee, wine, and beer bar called First Draft.
This is a freestanding mid-century modern building, and we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about us, but it was about how to we are now stewards of this building, and how do we reflect that in our aesthetics.
They removed carpeting to reveal the original floors, installed skylights which brighten the original beams, and repurposed the redwood.
It's really interesting to watch people come in, because some people come in and look up and stare, and you can tell they're looking for where they sat with their grandfather.
It's marvelous that they kept all the, like I said, I can tell they kept some of the rafters and the fireplaces. It's very reminiscent.
Shauna Eaton enjoyed some good meals in this building. Now she brings her daughter to enjoy good books.
I think a lot of people in this area really want that kind of local flavor to come back more. They're not as willing to spend money at large chains as they are to go and shop at local shops now.
Attached to the bookstore is Southern Rail, a new restaurant that honors its predecessor by showcasing the vintage leather booths, chandeliers, and art pieces purchased in London.
There's a lot of history made here.
But they can't afford to let nostalgia cloud their business model. The owners need only to look at their shelves as a warning.
Last year, sadly, over 300 Barnes & Nobles across the country closed. And we reached out to about 7 nearby Barnes & Nobles in nearby states that were closing. And there was a store in Pasadena that donated all of their bookcases to us. They were on the way to the landfill. The owners were very excited that they were going to resurrect them.
They added wheels so the bookshelves can be easily moved. By doing that, they also create a subtle reminder that moving forward can be just as important as looking back.
And while Changing Hands has only been open for a few months in Phoenix, its Tempe store is celebrating its 40th year. Friday on Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable. State Republicans move to separate themselves from controversial remarks made by former party official Russell Pierce, and a state lawmaker calls for citizenship test requirements for high school graduation. Those stories and more Friday on the Journalists Roundtable. A reminder, if you want election news, political news, you can go to our website, azpbs.org/horizon. That's azpbs.org/horizon. There you can see debates and all things regarding Vote 2014. Again, azpbs.org/horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.